Okay, I don't know if you've been looking forward to this one, so let's cut straight to the chase. You've seen the thumbnail. My take on Kopaka, who I now realise is slightly too big to fit in shot all the way with where he's standing right now. Let's shuffle him back a little. Back a little further. Adjust the tripod. And there we go. We're almost level as well. Okay, so first things first, bigger version of the Mata torso, as you probably noticed. Credit goes to Tributron for... I've kind of picked it up, but there's a crowd with some strange Rocky in the background anyway. Credit for the lower torso build here goes to Tributron. This is borrowed from something he first designed for his prototype tour, I believe it was. I'll link the video in the corner here if I remember to. So, let's get things on. Let's get the ball rolling with a traditional phone case full of accessories. And let's get him tooled up. So first things first. Yeah, this is why it has pegs and ports all over him. His traditional Mata sword pegs onto the hip there. Actually, haven't checked if we can hold it with the new style hand. You can grab it but not hold it. Hey, there we go. He has necessary articulation to grab onto his sword and look a little cocky in the process. So, shield next. We have his Mata shield attached to his Nuva shield, attached to, if I use a impromptu pray. There it was again, that Rahi. I can't really pry it off, so attached to one of these, the instructions I'm releasing will use two, just for more stability, because one kind of only just barely going onto here doesn't quite work as well. However, what it does do just fine is peg onto the gear on his back, which does absolutely nothing. It's locked in place. It's just there because there's one on the official set. Which, speaking of, I don't own for comparison purposes. Anyway, a pair of Nuva swords. Both just, which way around do I do these normally again? It doesn't really matter, I suppose. I'll also point out that the Mata sword can attach to the shoulder pegs, and he can actually do the reaching over the shoulder pose, I believe, from the early animations for grabbing the sword. And then the shield pegs onto here, and he's all tooled up with nowhere to go. So, what else can he do? Well, for one thing, he can get the sword in his hand. Remove the shield from his back and attach it to the forearm down here. Is that the wrong grey or is it just sun faded? I don't know. I think it's yellow. It's just a bit yellow, to be honest. And the other swords are where things get a little bit complicated, because he does have the option of holding them as he would his newer form, or he can kind of hold both of them at once and be overly equipped for everything. We'll get to posability in a moment, but that's what I consider to be excessively tooled up edition. I won't go into the process of installing them, but you can see he does have the setup on the feet that allow these to attach down there for kind of the traditional skiing pose. And he also has the option of dual wielding his Nuva swords, although I don't usually do that. I find it doesn't look quite as good, you know? What I should have probably done was lengthen the handles so he can hold on to them fully. This is a Mark 4, that's what this will be. This is the, as you can probably guess from that, the fourth iteration of this design. the third iteration of this design. I believe the first three are kicking around somewhere. If there are, then there'll be pictures of them now, and now. And if there aren't, then you just saw nothing. So, articulation then. That's the other important thing with this guy. Now the neck I am really jazzed with. So basically it's just the shortest CCBS axle with a ball joint that plugs into the back of the head. There is an alternate version of this setup that I've used for my take on Takanuva that it conveys the same thing. The important thing is that this means I can actually look up and not have it look weird. Or at the very least, only have it look kind of slightly weird. Yeah, I mean, isn't it often that you do the whole looking straight up thing like this, but for the other toe, for swearing poses and stuff, probably has benefits. It also allows for a little bit of leaning forward, and basically solid range of motion, including a little tilt at the top here to convey, well, just whatever you feel like conveying, really. Shoulders then, double ball joint. There is one jointed into the shoulder itself that, if I turn the hat out of the way, as you can see, goes into kind of a cavity there, left specifically for this. Just basically, well, to replicate the original gear and how the original torso had stuff sticking into it. Shoulder, full ball joint. That's the biggest alteration to the most recent version. The new shoulder. Forearm. Double ball joint, which I admit is slightly odd for articulation. There's basically one up here, one down here, with a 1.5 axle spacing, which means that you can get some good bend, but some slightly odd bend. You get slightly less than 90 degrees, but it's a very gradual curve that looks genuinely pretty good, I think. And then just regular ball joint on the hand for the sword. The other arm is exactly the same. The extended peg for the shield doesn't affect anything. Ball joint at the hips, as you'd expect. Knee hinge is rather stiff because it uses the friction extender to lengthen the calf. I just popped something off. Let's quickly put that back on. Yeah. And then ball joint at the ankle because, you know, that's what we need at the ankle for it to pose real good. Like, the torso is a little more complicated. Let's hinge that back. So what we have here is what can I point with? What we have here then is a bolt joint that connects to the same kind of lift arm type ball jointy piece that is used for Metru shoulders. The other end of it connects here to the head. And then basically double barbell ball joints onto these and a flex tube in the middle that attaches down here to one of the more recent gear pieces. I believe this is used for the elemental creature sets from G2. It's like kind of a lever. So what you have here is effectively 5 ball joints and a flex piece working in tandem to get some very dynamic sort of torso range, which, again, that's mostly Tributron's design, not mine. You may hear the cry of that Rahi again just now. And yeah, enables for something pleasingly dynamic, I'd say. And it helps that all his weapons can store on his body, etc., etc. Let's take a look at some of the... I'll give you guys a closer look at the back as well, because I didn't really show it off fully before. The construction for this is slightly odd, and things don't always connect the way you expect them to. But the end result is genuinely pretty solid, even if it does wobble a bit while I do this. The trick, of course, is to not do that. So, how does he stack up with various other sets? Let's move him back to get his full body in shot again. And here he is with Good Guy. And good guy. And good guy. The spinner has fallen off. Good guy. And back here, good guy. And to finish things up, bad guy. Still waiting on one part for Good Guy 2008. It's been a little while. I mean, the content that Brooklyn Seller about that, so I'm getting a little worried it's lost in the post. So, the one thing you guys are probably wondering more so than anything else is where did I get this cool snake ring that the camera refused to focus on? Please? No, that's focusing on it even less. No, it's not that question at all. How am he be built? Stay tuned, is all I'll say. Instructions have been made, and I do intend to release them pretty soon. Which I mean, like, probably the day after this video goes up, to be honest. So, with that in mind, subscribe to keep an eye out for that happening. I'll be back fairly soon. Up next is the Metro body type that I've also revamped to a similar scale. And for anyone curious how all this scales with the Inika build, have a render. So, thank you very much for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, all that jazz. And I guess I'll see you soonish for the Metro build.